All right, hello everybody. I am Drew Duncan, and this is the Sync 57 Sports Show. Plenty to get to today. Obviously, we've already talked about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and that thing with Tom Brady. We've already talked about the Giants and Baltimore Ravens, and we've already discussed the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Buffalo Bills. Talked a little college football. We talked about, is there anybody out there that can logically compete with Georgia? Now on to it, Dallas and Philly. What many believed, other than obviously the Chiefs-Bills game, was going to be game of the night. And just like clockwork, Skip Bayless went on to defend Cooper Rush. Somehow, some way. Skip, in the words of The Rock, I want you to
know your role and shut your mouth.
I second that.
I'm just saying, bro. I had it a long time ago, to be honest with you. I had it when he praised Dame for being better than Russell Westbrook and talked about what a great player he was after he hit that game-winning shot in the playoffs, only for the Blazers to get swept in the next round 4-0, and for him to go on national TV and say, hey, look, man, Dame is overhyped and overrated. I was done with him when Kevin Durant said, dude, I don't care how much you like me, stop it. And then Skip was like, oh, I'm the one who convinced Kevin Durant to play good. I think he heard me when I had, shut up. All right, stop. Okay, I was done with him with the way he insulted Dak Prescott, you know, dealing with the death of his brother, dealing with the death of his mother, somebody who lost his 18-year-old brother, his dad, his aunt, and his grandma all with a 7-month period. I definitely understood what Dak was going through, and then this guy goes on national television and says, oh, I don't care, he's a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. The hell is that? You know, and he's been riding Cooper Rush's jock, even though we all knew that Cooper Rush was being carried by that defense, that he's an absolutely mid quarterback. I have said all along that he's just basically about a step down from Dak. You don't get much better with Dak, but you get a little bit better with Dak. And that's it. You know, and Skip wanted to, well, almost. Well, almost doesn't count, bro. All right. And Skip wanted to, we had him dead to rights. You can't be down 20-0 and then be back into the 20-17 and say you got somebody dead to rights. It's just not how this works. And you damn sure can't talk about how good Cooper Rush played when he threw 18-38 and you say, well, I'll give him one interception. Dude, we're not talking about drop passes by receivers that ended up being interceptions. We are talking about straight up picks, man. We're talking about 18-38 for one touchdown and 3 INTs. Not to mention times when he talked about having, you know, rookie tight ends and all this and that. Multiple times when multiple guys were open and he couldn't get anybody the ball. He couldn't throw to wide open receivers. He would miss targets. Guys would be open further down the field. He wouldn't see them. He would throw it short and then he'd throw it incomplete. It's just mind-boggling that this guy makes like $5 million working for Fox Sports. He gets to say crazy things like Steph Curry's not a top 30 player in the NBA right now, let alone of all time. And I just wonder at this point if he's trolling, if him and Shannon get done, you know, him and Uncle Shay, they get done arguing. I just wonder if he goes off air and goes, yo, man, perfect segment. They'll buy into that. I mean, to me, that's what it has to be at this point. There's no way I can logically listen to this man anymore and say, he knows what he's talking about, because even when he does, it makes situations like this seem like he's wrong. And just, not seem like he's wrong because he is wrong, but seem like he's just spouting and willing to defend himself at all costs. Bro, it's okay to be wrong. I've been wrong. You know, I was right about Pittsburgh beating Tampa Bay. I thought that was going to happen, and it did. But I was wrong about the Giants losing to Baltimore. I was wrong about Syracuse losing to North Carolina State. And I admitted that. I gave points of emphasis where I thought, hey, you know, my assessment in this way was correct and in that way was correct. Here's where these teams surprised me, and this is what they did well to win the football game. Period. It's okay to be wrong. It's as if he thinks that the rest of us aren't watching football. He is fully willing to insult our intelligence and make it seem as though the rest of us are not watching the games. Especially him being a Cowboys fan, he's got to know they have literally the largest fan base in the NFL. And yet he wants to pretend he speaks literally as though he is the only guy who watched the game. That's the frustrating part. You're insulting our intelligence. You think we're not watching. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. And I, for one, am over it. I studied mass communications with an emphasis on sports analysis. I have awards in research, television, my written capabilities, on-air personality. I have a lot of accomplishments and accolades, and I respect this business is what I'm getting at. And the research part, to me, is the one that matters the most because it shows that I'm willing to go and figure out the facts and get everything straight and then form an opinion from there. Now, I understand he's got some facts to back it up. Well, at one point, he threw for 13 to 22, believe it or not, and yada, yada, yada. Bro, he's been averaging 184 yards a game, 60% completion percentage. That was going into last weekend. He had 4 touchdowns. Granted, he didn't turn the football over, but neither does Dak. And I've been saying the one good thing about Dak is he doesn't turn the football over. If that's the only compliment you can give a quarterback, are they really a good quarterback? I'm just done, man. It breaks my heart, and I do take it personally. For anybody listening, man, he just sounds bitter. I do take it personally. I left radio for a lot of reasons because number one was they wanted me to pull crap like this. They wanted me just, it's fine. It doesn't have to be believable. Just we need to draw a rating. Well, you know what? That's not my objective. I'm not in this to draw a rating. I'm in this because I love this business and I love sports and I love talking about sports. And so I literally get to sit at home and get paid to talk about sports as an independent. And I get to do it my way. I don't have to do anything that I don't want to do. I don't have to not withhold my opinion about certain restaurants and get phone calls from, P&R people and A&R and all these, all the, public relations and all this crap. I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to say, hey, Kentucky Fried Chicken, the only thing that you have that I like is coleslaw, and have their publicists call the radio station and go, hey, man, what's he doing insulting us? We're a sponsor of the show. I'm sorry, Popeyes is better. Deal with it. Your chicken tastes like crap. It's slimy, it's greasy, it's gross, there's no flavor, it's slop on a plate. I don't have to worry about stuff like that anymore. And so, yes, it is an insult when I see not just Skip, but a lot of these other guys do stuff like this. Dallas is not a good football team because their offense is not good enough. And when Zeke finally started to play good, that was when they started to be able to move the football. It was their running game, and the defense kept them in that game, and it was a lot closer than it should have been. Forcing 3 turnovers, man, I'm telling you what, that should have been 40 points. 21 plus our other drives. So, Skip could talk about how the defense didn't step up, but they have been. You turn the football over that many times, you don't deserve to win the game. That's an adage as old as time. You just don't deserve to win the game. And I have no idea why he's so enthralled with Tebow. Like, I love Tebow. And I really thought he should have got a full season in Denver or somewhere to prove who he was. If he fails after a full season, okay, boom, Tebow Mania is done. Get the guy the hell out of there. Cooper Rush has been in the league now for 6 years. And all he's ever been is a backup. and he survived basically on one game at Central Michigan against Oklahoma State, if I remember correctly. That's it. That's all that dude has ever survived on. He's not that good. He's a backup level quarterback. He's a game manager doing exactly what you want game managers to do. Not turn the football over, cautious with the football, make us a couple plays, put us in good position. We'll let the running game and the defense take care of it. Football 101, and we all know it. And, one of the times where he was right, but he didn't say anything that none of us didn't already know, I talked about it last week on Monday, was, look, unless Cooper Rush does something extravagant, unless he throws for 400 yards, 30 out of 35, 4 touchdowns, no picks, and they beat Philly, Dak is coming back. And he was going to come back probably anyways, because I talked about the financial situation of, are you going to bench a $100 million quarterback? You could almost say that it was the Philip Whitehurst situation, but Philip Whitehurst wasn't making that kind of money. And at the time, I think Russell Wilson was making $800,000, if I remember correctly, playing better than Philip Whitehurst. So it's still not even the same situation. We were talking about a financial burden here. Now, it's not to say that Jerry Jones isn't willing to cut ties and just say, well, I lost the money. We've seen it before. What I am saying is it would affect the rest of the way the NFL does business. And I really believe that for more than anything else, Jerry Jones has not only looked after his own interests, but he's looked out for the interests of the other owners, because he understands what it means to the NFL in its totality. For the most part, it was a foolish decision to give Dak that kind of money, and I stand by that. But to say that Cooper Rush is the next Tony Romo or Troy Aikman or whatever the hell, no. I mean, I guess you could call him Troy Aikman. Aikman did win 3 Super Bowls, but he had 165 touchdowns to 141 interceptions, damn near a 1-to-1 ratio with how many Hall of Famers around his offense. Look, that's another story, another time. The point of the matter is Dallas got beat. They're not that good offensively unless the run game is working for them, because both quarterbacks are not good enough to get the job done. You have your $100 million plus guy. Cooper Rush has got drummed. He didn't play well. Dak is coming in. That's the bottom line. And don't talk to me about an NFC championship right now when the Giants just beat the Ravens. The Philadelphia Eagles are undefeated, and you just admitted that they are the best defense in football. At least that's your estimation. So if you believe that, then how in the hell are they going to get to an NFC championship game when they still have to compete not only in their division, but they have to compete in the playoffs, more than likely against somebody that's in their division? I don't think the NFC is as strong this year as it's been in the past, but I'm going to tell you something. There's still teams that they would have to get by that I don't think they could compete with. They have wins over Washington. Is that a thing right now to beat the Washington Commanders? I mean, just come on, Anyway, Monday Night Football is coming up tonight. Russell Wilson. Boys, I tell you what, Denver, this is a thing still. This is still a thing. Now, as of the moment, as I speak, Russell is expected to play. Now, obviously, the LAC thing came out. Supposedly that happened when they were playing against the Raiders. One of the things that I've talked about with the Denver Broncos is how while Russell Wilson should get his share of the blame, it's not 100% on him. Melvin Gordon has 4 fumbles in 5 games, including a fumble in the red zone against the Seattle Seahawks, where Denver fumbled the ball twice. And then people wonder why they didn't run the football on 4th and 1 against the Colts on a Thursday night game. The offensive line is horrible. At the time, it was 11 false starts, 55 yards and penalties just on that alone. That's excluding holding calls, the inability to block for their quarterback. I think Russell's already been sacked 16 times this season. And I know that people are sick of seeing the Denver Broncos on primetime football because now they're watching bad football. And I get it. As a Broncos fan, when I tell you, I have said over and over again, this doesn't look like an NFL caliber football team on offense in any sense of the word. They barely look like a high school team. The play calling has been mid. First down, let's run it. Second down, draw play or screen play. Third down and long, we need Russ to make a play. It's an obvious passing situation. Defense pins their ears back. They know that Denver's offensive line can't protect worth jack, and they just go right after Russ. He's had some guys open, but been unable to make some throws. Somehow he still has over 1,200 yards passing this season. I don't know how that happened. A good chunk of it did come against the Seattle Seahawks, but I'm going to tell you something. It's a bad look for Denver overall. We're talking about basic play calling, a line that can't block, and a quarterback that just hasn't been making good decisions when he's had the opportunity because Russ has either just been firing the football in there or he's just been throwing it to no man's land. Now, he's made some really, really good throws, and he's looked like Russell Wilson a few times. But for the most part, Denver, like I said, they need to start doing some other things manage-wise. They need to run some drag routes underneath, some crossing drag routes underneath. They need to run some quick outs, some quick slant plays. They need to start getting the football out of there. If the offensive line can't protect Russ for 3 seconds, which is the standard for anybody, 2.5 at the bare minimum, if you can't protect for that long, then you're going to have to figure other things out other than screen plays because you go to the well too many times, the defense starts picking up on it, and the play's just not there. Defensively, Denver continues, as they've had since basically 2015 really, to have a championship caliber defense. Championship caliber defense. For the last 7 or 8 years, nearly a decade, that has been the staple for the Denver Broncos. And as good as they are right now, are they good enough to stop Justin Herbert tonight? Don't forget that a badly injured Justin Herbert gutted it out against the Kansas City Chiefs, and they nearly won that football game. A healthy Justin Herbert, they walk away with a W. At least that's my estimation. Obviously, we don't know for sure. I can say it as a possibility, but I don't know it as an absolute. I do think that Herbert's really going to get tested tonight against a very good Denver Broncos defense. We'll see. We'll see where Herbert's at. We'll see where Wilson is at. This could be a game tonight that, kind of blows us away. I don't think LA's got as good a defense as people suggest that they have. And if Denver's going to explode, it's going to have to be tonight. But I just don't see it. I think Denver loses again. I'm not really fully sold on them really having a season to recover. I don't think it's going to happen. I think LA goes 4-2 tonight. I think Denver falls, another loss. And unfortunately, the Russell Wilson thing has just not worked out. We were all high on the hog. We all talked about the AFC West. It was going to be the best division in all of the NFL, and it's not. The Raiders are terrible. The Broncos are mid at best. The Chargers are good, but Herbert is basically a one-man show still on offense. And Kansas City continues to dominate. I know that they lost against Buffalo, but we're talking about the AFC West right now. And until somebody takes it away from them, they are the best team in the AFC West. Mahomes is playing out of his mind. And, Juju Smith-Schuster really opened it up the other night. And Travis Kelce the weekend before that, 4 touchdowns in one game. Believe it or not, at only 25 yards receiving. Well, what the hell does that matter? You're scoring points for your football team, right? That's the name of the game. So, and especially in the red zone. I mean, we've seen how many times with how many teams in college football and the NFL, how difficult it really is to score in the red zone. So Kelce giving his team the best opportunity to score, that's something that not everybody's doing. Look how bad Denver struggles in the red zone. Tampa Bay, look how bad they struggle in the red zone. The Eagles were not the best in the red zone on Sunday night. Neither was Dallas. It is not easy to score down there. You have to have the right game plan. You have to have, specific plays against specific teams for your red zone. Then, of course, you have plays that you think are going to work against any team. But when you're going up against a monster defense like Denver, I think the key tonight for LA is going to be protecting Herbert, rolling him out of the pocket, trying to get him out of trouble, let him set and make throws as after he rolls out, make it easy on him, some easy completions to tight ends and receivers over the middle. Take the game step by step. Don't try to throw deep. That Denver defense is going to be there waiting. And the plays are going to take too long to develop. All right. Against that defense, it's going to be the same concept that I want to see from Denver. Quick outs over the middle, roll your QB out, get him out of trouble. I don't know if Denver's going to change their game plan or not. I think they've got a head coach in Hackett that just is stubborn and is not going to change many things up, even though he really should. It's still early enough in the season that if you do and it works, you can make a run. But it's not logical and it's not likely. Now, I think the Chargers are smart enough to make those adjustments tonight. Take the game as it comes. Take it easy. It's okay with taking it slow. Run the clock. Use short pass plays, essentially like a run game, and they can get the job done against Denver. You don't have to score very many points to beat the Broncos. One of the worst offenses in all the NFL, especially in scoring. You score maybe 16, 17 points, you probably have the game in hand. It's not going to take a lot. Denver literally won a game 11-10. You don't need many points to beat Denver. All right, everybody. I am Drew Duncan. This is the Sync 57 Sports Show. Again, quick recap here. Skip Bayless, stop it. We're all done. Come real or come not. Remember who you are as a journalist. That's my message, I guess. Whatever. Dak is coming back. Even if Cooper Rush would have played out of his mind, I got to tell you, $100 million just sitting there. It's a dangerous move, my man. Dangerous move. Denver, LA Chargers tonight. I like LA to win the football game. Sorry, Broncos fans. I'm a Broncos fan, but I'm also a realist. At least I try to be. And I just don't see any possible situation where Denver gets it done. To the rest of the world, I apologize, because you have to continuously watch Russell Wilson and company playing primetime football, and you're getting sad offense. And I'm just sorry. Although I'm not the one who should be apologizing. All right, everybody. Again, I am Drew Duncan. This is the Sync 57 Sports Show. Don't forget to like, share. I could do my job. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good jazz. And then, of course, in addition, you can find me wherever you listen to the podcast. Simply tell your device to play Drew Duncan. Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify. I am wherever. Actually, I just pulled it from Spotify. Anywhere else, though, iTunes, I'm wherever you're listening to podcasts. And as always, stay safe. Take care of each other.